Hey ESGN Nation, and welcome back to another episode here as we're in episode 21, the first part of the off season here for the Cleveland Browns. Obviously our Super Bowl winning Cleveland Browns doing a great job this season, winning and bringing home for the first time ever to Cleveland the Lombardi Trophy. So congratulations to them, and hats off to the Dog Pound and everybody else supporting the Browns this season. And of course, now it's time to basically say, okay, hit the reset button, and let's try to see if we can go run this one back and be Super Bowl champions again. Now, that being said, we're going to have to make a lot of changes here because we don't have the money to support everybody we would like to bring back. I mean, if we had the cash, I would love to bring back everybody, and not to mention grab more people as well to help us out on this journey of trying to go back to the Super Bowl and become Super Bowl champions again. So as we take a look here, we're looking at the mock draft, and of course you see some familiar names. If you've been familiar with the channel and of course familiar with the Highland Scotty series, you see there Wendell K. Song, Alex Flanagan, of course Blanco, Curtis there. Some of those players, obviously, as you see there, there are the Highland Scotties players there from our series. And of course, there are a couple other players that we've played against from other schools here, especially a lot of the Big 12 schools here are in this draft class. And of course, they're in the other draft classes. Now, of course, as you know, the series is coming to the end, but we're going to be pretending like this series was just, continuing. It will continue in some aspects there. Like I said before, it's going to be a kind of maybe a live stream series of some sort we can play from time to time. But there are some Highland Scotties players out here, and some of the players from that first year or two in this one. So, there you see the player that they said that we should go after on pick 32 in the first round. Now, this is the first round mock draft. So these are all players that were projected either obviously the first round and then the first round and going into the second round. Take a look at here. We're going to look at some of the retirement players. The Bills had 2 players there. I don't think we have any for our team, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen this footage here. But like every year, you got to make some of those tough decisions on who we're going to keep and who is going to have to say, so long, farewell, Avita, say goodbye. If you guys know where that comes from, let me know down below in the comment section. But anyway, we're going to get into the off season here, and the first part obviously is going to be the draft, or not the draft, excuse me, the re-signing, looking at free and also for free agency period. So we've got a lot of players that we have to make some hard choices about. One of them is Nick Chubb. Do we bring him back? He's now a 96 overall. He's pretty much, I think he has 2 more slots that he can fill up, and he'll be basically locked. All his abilities that he can have will be locked in there for the team. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, okay, well, do we bring him back, or do we say, sayonara? Good luck to whoever can, fit the build for you to play, and do we, focus in on Hunt? And I think we've already kind of answered that question. I think we're going to have to go ahead and tell Nick Chubb, sorry, we love you to death. You did such a great job for us. You did so many great things for us this past season and help. And really, truly, I mean, if you think about it, he was our anchor when it came to offense. He helped us in the running game, which helped take the pressure off of our quarterback, and of course just give us opportunities to do some amazing, crazy things, especially with those first 4 weeks. I thought when he was out for those, I think it was week 3, and he was out for 4 weeks. It's like, oh shit, what do we do? We got Hunt, but like this is not part of the game plan like I had in my head. Like we need both, and then I finally realized, like, maybe we don't need both. Maybe if we can get rid of one and keep the other. And and after he came back from his injury, he just blew up. I mean, was just mowing down teams and just getting 100 and some odd yards a game, which is crazy. And hats off to our offensive line. They did a great job there. So as you see there, yeah, we got some big decisions we have to make when it comes to this. And this is always the toughest part of it all, because you for at least for me playing franchise, I get really attached to a lot of these players. Even especially once you get too deeper into the season or into the series here, which unfortunately we won't be able to do. But you start getting attached to some of these players. You're like, man, like I really don't want him to go, but at the same time, it's like he's eating up our. He's eating up any future chances for us to get any other players in other positions that are of need, that we need right now. So sometimes you have to let those players walk away, and that's what we're doing for a lot of those. And to take a look there, Anthony Walker, we're going to go ahead and re-sign him. He accepts the offer that we made to him, so it's nice to see him come back. Harrison, we do not re-sign. Higgins, I think we're going to withdraw from him as well. Jackson, I think, is another player that we're we're trying to get him signed, but decided now we're just gonna have to go, and maybe we will have to go on to the draft, or maybe find somebody in the free agency period. Take a look here. We got Jamie, obviously our punter, who did wonders for us this year, so we went ahead and re-signed him as well. But yeah, it's always tough trying to make those decisions, because you want to make sure you have enough money going in for free agency, which we won't have too much money here. I think we may be lucky to sign 2 players to help us out, which is fine, because that gives now us an opportunity really to get some of the younger guys. Obviously, we're trying to be younger here, and if we have a good youth movement and do well, I mean, this could be a really good team going next season. I mean, I guess the experience level is not there yet, but I mean, for the most part, all these players that we have right now, they're in their rookie year. They know what it takes to get to that next level when it goes to postseason. So they have that experience here. Will there be some growing pains going into this season? Oh yeah, most definitely. There's going to be some big problems. There's going to be some big holes that we're going to have to fill. Especially on the defensive side of things. But we still have our rock on our defensive side, which is Miles Garrett. And of course, we got some other players that can really do a good job there, stepping up on our defensive tackles there. And especially if we can get that Chamberlain kid, if we can get him signed, which I think that's actually a pretty good fit, that would be awesome. Now, I will say I am going to, I tried by rule, I think I said this before at the beginning of this series, but we're going to try to avoid trying to get any of the Highland Scottish players, because I know what their attributes are for the most part. But if the computer decides to be stupid, stupid people get stupid prizes. So I'm going to, if it happens to fall on my lap, with some of those Highland Scottish players, which I believe majority of them are first round picks. So there will be a few, at least if going by my mock draft that I made it myself, if a Highland Scottish player happens to fall in my lap, I have a pretty good idea which ones will. I know for sure, unless this draft changes, and because when I made these players up, I also had a friend of mine from work put some stuff in there for a lot of the players that we created, and kind of made some surprises with some of the players there. So I don't know. I know what I put in there, but I had him go back and change some things. And I told him there are certain traits and certain things that certain players from the Highest Guys were good at, and that stuff has to stay in there. But you can also tweak it a little bit for them to do other things, or penalize them in some other fashions, other games. So that's what we did. This draft class is available. I will tell you now. I believe it's called ESGN Draft Class 1. Maybe I'll have make a quick video about it. But if you guys are still playing on the PS, it's on the PS4. And if you're still playing on 22, I will leave you guys the draft class on there. I will actually leave all 3 draft classes that I've made already for this series particular, and I will put those online so you guys want to play those, and let me know who you guys, if you happen to download this draft class and you happen to use it, and the guys, some of the highest Scotty players are, obviously they're on there. Let me know who you picked up, or what teams they went to, and I can I can compare to what they are drafted here in this one, because obviously we've already done the draft already. I kind of know where they're at for the most part here. But as we take a look here, we're looking at some free agency here, and the free agency pool is actually pretty good. So the sliders that I'm using for the XP, it's actually working very well, and it's supposed to be making it tough for not just myself to sign players, but as well as for the CPU, because a lot of guys are going to be asking for that top money. And it's going to come down to where a lot of teams are going to have to go to the bottom of the barrel, find the best, the low end top players there to fill their rosters there. So which is great. And now, since Madden 23 is coming out, or it's been out now, I'm doing the same thing with them, because now it's even with the new thing they put in there for free agency period, where not every player is going to want to go to your team because they have certain restrictions or certain things they want, and if you don't meet those, then they're not going to sign. Well, that being added along with our XP sliders that I've came up with in the last couple of seasons now on this game, it's going to be really fun now. It's good. The free agency period is going to be a blast, so I cannot wait to see how things come about for us. And for, of course, in that series with the Buffalo Bills there. But, like I said, we'll still play this series for the most part here. I'm trying my best to figure out a live stream time that we can live stream this and be a part, have some fun with this. I think live stream wise, we'll probably play at least 2 or 3 hours. So that's usually about 2 or 3 games that we can get into and have some fun with, and just see where this team goes off afterwards. Going to season 2 and hope maybe a little beyond with this series. But like I said, this is by far one of my favorite series here. Besides this and the, I think it was the Steelers one that I had a lot of fun with a couple of Maddens ago. But as you take a look here, we got a lot of players here. We're just looking around at some of the other quarterbacks that we have available, because we are looking for a quarterback that can help us out. Of course, Mayfield, he's 87 overall. Our next quarterback is like 60 something. So we're looking for a quarterback maybe somewhere around the 70s that can help us out. And there's a couple of names out there I'm thinking about, or if we can't get lucky, maybe we can find one in the draft. We're not really looking necessarily for a quarterback this season, but I would say probably next season is probably a guy we'll probably, if we were, if we're continuing this series, in a traditional format, season 2 would definitely be, next season we'd be looking at the draft and looking at the quarterbacks that are coming out of that draft class, which there are actually some pretty good, decent ones there. Because remember, we're doing a draft class. The draft class is consuming of the High and Scotty series, as well as the NCAA series with Matt Marvel's little brother, Miles Marvel, and also the Stanford Cardinals series that I did on the second channel. So there's 3, sets of players in that universe, in those draft classes from those 3 different universes combined into this Madden series, and we're going to continue doing that in the Madden 23 series as well. So you'll see some of those players. So like this first draft class coming up in Madden 23, you'll see the draft class you're seeing right here in this one, with some slight changes, of players and stuff like that, and of course abilities and stuff like that. So just because they're a corner doesn't necessarily mean they can play corner. They can probably play wide receiver or play halfback, or there's gonna be some curveballs that we threw in there to kind of make you think otherwise, because they may be able to play more than just one position, or they might be able to they may be only able to play that one position, or may not be able to play that position at all. So they might be able to play a whole different position over when it comes to it, and that's not every single player. It's just a few hand-selected players that we picked when creating those classes there. And I've already got done with the first draft class for Madden 23 and starting to work on Season 2's draft class. But as we take a look here, we're just looking at some more free agency here. There you see the cap space there. Like I said, we don't have much cap space. We're trying our best to sign some last-minute guys here. I've seen a couple of Chiefs players there here. I was kind of thinking about picking up, but then when I realized how much they were asking for, it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So for the most part, you know, I'm just showing this because I'm just showing you guys some of the players that are available in this draft class. But I think for the most part here, we're going to have to just rely on the draft. And we got some good draft positions for ourselves. As you know, Atlanta did poorly this year, which was great because we got rid of Javon Clowney, who they can use and build around. You know, they needed a player like his caliber, which helped them out a little bit there, but still, they were still one of the worst teams in the league. Excuse me. So, but Nate, or I should say Joseph Noteboom is our new right guard. So that helped us out there. That's going to be very helpful for a signing. So we don't have to worry about that for the draft, but we will have to worry about a right tackle, if I'm not mistaken, for the upcoming draft, as well as a left guard, left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker, and a middle linebacker. So, but we went ahead and moved Taki. I believe he was playing middle, and I think now we move over to right. So now he's going to be taking over the right side in the linebacker position there, which is very helpful. And I think that's a better fit for him. Middle linebackers there, we definitely are going to try to draft because Anthony Walker's the only one there. Now, we could move over Mac Wilson, which I think we might end up doing. Alabama guy, third year with us. And I think we'll go ahead and move him over there to play middle linebacker for right now. And then, you know, depending on how well he trains and does over the course of the season, you know, we can easily move him back. But I think right now he's going to be a good backup for us there. And then we'll try to maybe draft a middle linebacker of some sort somewhere in the 4th or 5th round. Because I've seen there's quite a few of them that have kind of dropped going into the 4th or 5th round. We have an early 4th round pick. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think we have an early 4th round pick from Atlanta. That I believe there's a couple of linebackers that have dropped from the bottom half of the 3rd round that could easily slide down to the top half of the 4th round. So we're gonna, you know, play around with that and see what we can do. Now the fourth mock draft there, you see Wendell Cason looks like he's going to the Steelers. As for Flanagan, he could be going to Washington. Pretty good fits there for both of those guys there. Be very interesting if Cason does go to the Steelers, because I'm like, okay, I got to play against my former Heisman Trophy winner, running back there. So, pretty interesting places for a lot of these players here. Now I will say when we do the draft, which will be the next episode, we'll show at least the picks that we've made. I went ahead and in that video, and I'll talk about it in that video, there will be a link to the actual draft. You guys can watch the draft in its entirety. A little bit, it'll be edited for the sake of they won't have the game music in it, but it will have just the picks, mainly from the first round. I think the first 2 rounds maybe, and then we kind of skip around and we just show you some of the picks of mainly of showing you guys. I just want to show you guys who the draft, you know, if you guys are interested in the high and Scotty players, where they went off to, but also our picks and what my train of thought was when picking some of those. So it won't be a commentator or anything like that. It'll just be just strictly just, you know, like the music you're hearing right now, and then just the gameplay for the draft. So we'll look into that and more coming up in the next video, and that'll be a video that you guys can watch. There'll be a link in the description there in episode 22, and you guys can go to that link, and anyone can actually go to that link there. It's a video that's unlisted, and you guys can go check it out and watch it and see about that. About the draft there that we have. I think I may end up doing that more often now here once we get into the first off season there for the Buffalo Bills series. But just take a look here, some more signings here. That you got David Njoku, who a former tight end of ours. He is going now to sunny San Diego, but sunny LA, as he is now a Charger. And then, of course, some other notable names there around the league, or make some new changes here. Some of them got some new addresses, and some of them are going to be pretty much staying put where they're at. But I think for the most part here, there's quite a few changes in the league here this off season here. So there's going to be very interesting. Like I said, it'd be really cool to get into season 2 and see how this all played out, and see, how our division was. 'Cause I think the Ravens even made some pretty good pickups there. And of course, with this draft and some of these players that are coming in here, there's a lot. I will tell you guys that draft class, there's some surprises. Don't take everything at face value. There's some pretty good surprises with a lot of those players that we've created, and also what the CPU created as well. So yeah, don't be surprised. There's a little something for everybody in that draft. So, but yeah, this draft was a lot of fun. I was kind of mocking it for a while there, and then I was like, okay, let's actually get it done. And I think I'm pretty satisfied with the players that we got, and we'll talk more about that in the next video. But here, like I said, in the free agency pool, I'm really impressed because it really showed, and I think here, after I get done showing all these, they'll show you that there are still some players that still don't have a home, some well recognizable players that still don't have a home yet. So that tells you right there that not every team can, even the big teams, can't afford some of these players here. So some of these players are going to have to come down on their offers that they're wanting, and take that 1-year offer and make half the money they would have made, or whatever the case may be. Because age does, with Madden, age does come a factor, because once you get to that 28, 29 years of age, you start seeing that regression from a lot of these players, and especially positions in high demand. Your linebackers, guys that get to the ball or have the ball quite often. Your linebackers, your running backs, your wide receivers, your skill players. They're going to have a lot of wear and tear on them, and it's going to be tough. See, Nick Chubb hasn't even got signed yet, so neither has Harrison. Gronk is still trying to play. What else? Who are some other players? Hayward, Hightower. Yeah, so you still got some pretty good names out there that are looking for a home still, and so we'll have to, unfortunately, we can't bring any of those guys there because we don't have the cap space like we do in Madden 23 that the Browns have in this the start of that campaign. If I was doing that one, they have an amazing cap space. Not to mention they have that rollover cap space as well. Now that you can do in Madden, so. There you see Colin. He hasn't got picked up yet. I want to say in my Madden 23 game, I think he got picked up, but I can't remember who it was, which I was really happy to see that happen for him. So I had to go back and see who he did get picked up by. James White, and of course Justin Houston. You got Le'Veon Bell still out there. So you got some pretty good. You got some veteran names in there that could still do some work for you. Playing in a lesser role than they would have before. Higgins, you see, he hasn't got re-signed yet. He's still looking at 12-year. I think it's 12-8 for 3 years or 4 years, something like that. So we'll see if they'll get a home or not. You see Tate. Let's see. Zerline. He's a Missouri Western guy. He was out there when I was still working out there. When I just started working out there. So, wow, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I cannot believe I was working out there when he was going to school out there. Wow. I've been at that job for a long time. Oh boy. But yeah, take a look here. Just some more players here. And these are mid 70 players. Like these are players that are be decent players that you can kind of have some role players. They'd be almost in some ways be the new mentorship that Madden has this year in their game. So those would be good players that you can have in that have some experience and been on, either on successful teams or not successful teams, and they can easily play a nice role to help you out. So, but as you see here, we got some private workouts there. We got basically I let my CPU decide over the private workouts there for the most part, because I usually do pretty well in the draft. I usually maybe pick one or two bad players, but for the most part, I think I do pretty well for myself. So I went ahead and let the CPU go ahead and make that decision. And then here you are, just seeing some more of the signings. Some of these you've already seen already, but just a couple others there. There are some new ones there that teams are now picking up here and trying to finalize their team before going to the draft, because after this they'll kind of get a better idea of what they need for the draft. And like I said, we kind of already know what we need. There you see Teddy Bridgewater, of course. In real life he's now with Miami, but there he's with the Steelers. So that's good. That would be that's definitely interesting storyline going into season 2 if I was continuing this. As a traditional series. How does that play out to be? With Ben, now I believe Ben retired. So now with Ben retired, and or if Ben's still there, who do you start? Do you start Big Ben or do you start, Bridgewater there? Nick Chubb has still not found a home yet, you guys. He's still homeless. He don't have a home. Like I said, a guy who ran for 2,000 yards last year and had, 30-something rushing touchdowns last year. Who can afford them? That's the question right there. And so far, that question has not been answered. I would imagine it'll probably be a team. I would say probably the Jets probably have the money. But I think they're kind of waiting to see what other teams are offering. Because if nobody else is offering anything, I think the Jets will probably be the better fit. We'll see. I think he does does get a spot to be home with, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Like I said, it's been a little over a month since I've seen this footage here. So by the time this video comes out, it'll be probably even longer. So, but we'll take a look here as we try to wrap up this first part of the off season. We get our final mock draft here, the 5th one. Then you see Stan Russell is the top guy Atlanta could go after in the first round. Larry Coleman from Boston College. Wendell Kason now is going to Washington, and then Alex is going to go to Pittsburgh. So that makes it very interesting there, because now right there it shows you that Pittsburgh needs a quarterback bad. So that would be kind of cool going against my old quarterback, my starting quarterback from the Highland Scottish series. That'd be really interesting to see. And then you see Chamberlain there. He is still our pick there that they say that we should go after. Nick Chubb has finally found a home, you guys. He's, like I said, going with the Jets. Jets had the most money. There you see $36.7 million for over 6 years. So congrats there to him getting his money. But we're going to become comfortable with Hunt. He's going to be a really nice pick. And of course, I think we are going to go after a third. We're going to look for a halfback, but I think we're going to wait because there's some halfbacks. There's not. I don't think there's that many halfbacks in this draft class here, but there's actually pretty. It's really kind of tough to decide which halfback we're going to go after, because there's quite a few good ones in there, and I think there's like 3 or 4 that will actually fit in our play scheme that Cleveland has. So I'm not too worried about the halfback position, because I like to have try to use all 3. And kind of have them in different packages, and sub packages and stuff like that. So that is something that we'll definitely, I'm looking into as well. Not just the players that we need, but also some areas that we can increase in and kind of set ourselves up for having that future player there down the line. Especially if Hunt gets too good and it does too well, and we have to ship him off as well. So there's some pretty good players in this draft that I feel comfortable with. Like I said, looking at a lot of the offensive line and the linebackers, offensive line, basically the guards and the linebackers are going to be very, very important for us in the first. I'd say the first couple of picks. I forgot exactly how many picks we have altogether. I don't know how many picks we have in the draft so far, but I do know that we are going to get rid of our picks. I think in the 5th round and the 6th round, 6th and 7th round. We're going to get rid of those because. Unless I shouldn't say that. I should say unless there is a player that happened to fall from grace, a top, put a number one, a guy that was in the 1st round or 2nd round that happens and for whatever reason just drops drastically off everybody's boards, and it's in the 6th round, 7th round when he's actually should be, he was looked at as a 2nd, 3rd round guy, or maybe a late 1st round guy. If it numbers look right and everything is where we want it, then we could pick him up. So like I said, you could always find something in a draft. You'd be surprised of the things you can find with players and stuff like that. Pieces, players that you can use as trade bait and pieces to get yourself going. Of course, like I said, I don't trade too often. Usually it's just, if I do trade, it's usually one player like we did this past year that, hey, he's going to cost us way too much money for us to keep around, or he's way too expensive right now for us. I kind of want to get him off the books so we don't have to worry about paying him. So let's ship him off somewhere to a team that we know needs him, but is doing, currently it's doing poor right now. I mean, that's the best strategy. I mean, everybody mostly, for the most part, does that. So that's what we're going to try to do going into the offseason. Here's some of the transactions here from. We're going to look at pretty much our division, so the Bengals. Bengals, as well as the Ravens, and as you see, the Ravens made some pretty good moves there. Not too bad there. So some pretty good decent moves there. You got to see, of course, some staff, new staff guys moving around. Coaches got fired. I know the head coach for the Steelers, no longer the coach for the Steelers, no more. He got released. He got fired. So they have a new coach for the Steelers there. So a lot of different changes there. Of course, you've seen that probably at the beginning of this video here. And just change of the guard. That's what some teams, a lot of these teams have to do. So you see some of the Steelers pickups and some of the acquisitions they made during the offseason there for the most part here. And like I said, I'm pretty happy with our pickups. So you see Nick Chubb, probably the biggest acquisition there for the Jets, which I cannot wait to see how that's going to come into play. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to play the Jets this year and see what we can do with them. And then of course there you see the Bucks. I believe Brady is still with them, so you'll see another year of Brady. Oh my goodness, man, is that guy ever gonna retire? Like, what else is there to prove? But as we wrap up this episode, this first part of the off season here, for the most part, I feel really comfortable. This usually I kind of feel a little nervous, a little jittery about, okay, oh my God, like we got to put out these fires that we have when it comes to picking up players and drafting and stuff like that. But I think for the most part here, I think we did a great job of the free agency. Like I said, we didn't have much money, so we couldn't do too much. And what we could do in free agency, I think we did an excellent job. Now it is time for the new season. That means new money's coming in, and we get a chance now to bring in some new players and see what these new players can do and see what roles. Because some of these players will have to take a big role on very early. and others will be able to take a chance to sit back and kind of soak in on what's going on and kind of have a minor role in some decision making when it comes to our team. So that being said, that is it for this episode of the Cleveland Browns franchise as we get ready for part 2 of the off season, and that will be the NFL draft. So who do we draft? Well, you're going to find out here very, very soon, as well as see some of the High and Scotty players that we have created from that series as well, and of course our players from our what is that? The other series, the Stanford Cardinal series there. So, but that's it for this episode. If you guys did enjoy today's episode, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you happen to be new. Hit that bell notification so you guys be notified of this series or any other series here on the channel. Don't forget to follow us also on the other channel on ESGNet plus LP, as well as check out our social media down below in the description: Facebook, Twitter, and Discord, as well as our on stream over there as we do stream over on Twitch over on the weekends. Definitely check us out there. The times are down below as well in the description, along with the link. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on the channel as we get to finish up this first season with the Browns here on the channel. That's it for me. As always, keep yourselves healthy. Go Dogs! I'll see you guys next time.